My name's Darren Hughes. I'm 48 years old. Live from Folkestone. Birthday is 9th of the 5th, 1976. I've lived in Folkestone all my life. I remember used to come on the lift as a child, and that up and down used to be a great day out. Used to go down the rotunda and that down to the amusements, and my mother and that used to go into the Sunday market and that leave me alone in the amusements. And I was always looking forward to the ride on the lift on the way back up. And after I left school, I started work on the council, litter picking. And I got a letter from the council one day, and I got home from work asking if I could turn up at the lift, and one Sunday, and that was my first experience of working at the lift.
Tell me about when you were a youngster on the lift. What was that like? What
it used to be the highlight of my day, and that coming down the lift, and that up in the lift. The noise of the lift is what I used to love. Most people hated the noise of the lift, the screech of the brakes, and that, but I used to love it. You could hear it right across Folkestone, the screech of the brakes of the lift. You always knew when the lift was going up and down. I know, it's fantastic, yeah.
Did your family spend a lot of time down here?
We used to come down to the lower road where I think it was sort of Pet's Corner or something down here then. They used to have little animals, and you used to have the swimming pool and that, and the little boating pool and that. Back in the day, I think there used to be a skating rink, roller skating rink over in the car park there, just opposite the lift. Back in the day, I believe my father used to go roller skating in there. But yeah, Folkestone was just a lovely town back in the day.
Take me to when you got that letter and you knew you were coming to the lift, and when you're going to have to be trained up as take me through the training.
Well, the first day I was pretty much chucked in the deep end, really. I wasn't used to dealing with money and cash and adding up numbers and the tickets, and I got put on the front door of the lift, given the ticket machine and the satchel, and that was when you had the Sunday market over there. You had the ferries, and it was busy. There used to be a queue right along the lower road there for the lift, and I got put on that door on the first day, and yeah, I was very, very nervous. Very nervous, and it was full on. Yeah, he was on that door all day. You couldn't move. The lift was, it was really, really busy then with the Sunday market and the people coming through. Lots of different people coming through.
Were you nervous because you were dealing with people?
Yes, first job, sort of dealing with the public and that. But it was, yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I was terrified at first, but absolutely loved it. And that was it. Once I was on the lift, I stayed on the lift. I really enjoyed it. It was great, and within a couple of months, I was getting trained up to drive the lift. I mean, that's quite nerve-wracking in itself, trying to drive that lift, because it's all totally manually driven. The ghost, I wouldn't say it was a sort of scary experience, but several times, I'll say half a dozen times over the years, it's been experienced by me and other members of staff. And that used to be it was like a little old lady dressed in Victorian attire. I remember one day I was up the top, I was driving the lift, and it wasn't a very nice day. It was very wet. We was getting hardly any people through. Sometimes on a wet day you get like a dozen people through all day. It's it's quite a boring job when it's like that. But I remember sitting up the top there and looking down, and I see this lady come walking in to the lift, and she had like Victorian clothes on, dress and that, and I watched her come into the lift and go and sit in the car on this side, on the right hand side there, and I was up the top looking down, could see her sitting in the and I thought Eamon's working down the bottom that day, and I thought he'll ring the bell in a minute and sort of send her up and that, and I waited about 10 minutes. I thought, what's he up to? And that, so I give him a ring down. I said, are you going to send that lady up? in the car. He said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "There's no one in there." I said, "There is. There's an old lady sitting in the car. I'm looking at her right now." He went, "I haven't had anyone come through the door." And I see him walk along the walkway at the bottom of the lift and come into the car, poke his head, she just disappeared. She just went. And the next thing, he's waving at the window, so there's no one in there. And that's happened a few times. I've seen her sitting in the car. Very, very, very odd. It wasn't a sort of scary experience, but it is, it's very odd. There's been quite a few experiences of, I believe her name was Eleanor, I believe. We had some ghost hunters down sort of one day. It was actually on my birthday when they come down, after we've had sort of a few experiences. There was a type, many of us, all the gentlemen that I worked with at the time, there was no phone in the pump room. But there's been many experiences where we've been in the office and like a very old ring, like an old phone, and that started ringing in the pump room. And I've heard it many a time. And as you walk into the pump room, it just shuts off. But there was a day when three of us, the lift was closed, and there was three of us sitting in the office, because we'd all heard about it, heard it, but we'd all been sort of on our own when we've heard it. And then one day we were sitting in the office, there was three of us, and we was having a cup of tea, and it started ringing in the pump room. And we all just looked at each other as if to say, "Oof." I've never done that when, there's been a few of us here. And I shot along the walkway, opened the pump room, and just stopped. Very weird. We had Prince Harry. When Prince Harry opened the arch up there, we had the lift was open that day. That was a great day. And Prince Harry coming open the lift. Who else? With many people have come through. Vic Reeves used to come through the lift quite often. Bob Mortimer. We've had some days when they was filming. They was filming a TV program called The Tunnel, and they ended up using the lower lift as their sort of base and a canteen. So they was filming. We'd done a bit of filming with them, and they fed us and really looked after us. I believe it was the episode in the tunnel where they had, I think it was to do with a bomb in a car park over here. They set some lady alight over there, which is something you don't see every day. When the lift closed and that, a lot of, you get a lot of senior citizens and that up and down the lift. When the lift shut, they were talking to them all the time, and that, and many of them didn't even bother coming down the lower road, or because they couldn't get down here when the lift was shut. It was their link to the beach and that. So when the lift shut, that was it. They didn't come down to the lower road. So and single mothers, families, that it's a great link to the town. How the lift operated has stayed the same since it opens in 1885. Sorry, it's always worked the same. And with them putting the new lift in, I believe it's still going to work the same as it always has. Although it's going to have more safety gear on it, isn't it? But it's still, which is the best thing for it. I think if you lost the fact that it operates by water, I think you lose the heart of the lift, I believe. Just purely the weight of water sending that down. It was a green machine before they even it broke my heart when we closed the lift the last day. I parked the cars halfway, and that it was it broke my heart. I've been on there so long and thinking that it would never open again. When I heard that they was redoing it and getting it all back up and running, it made me very happy, very happy. I mean, when we closed the lift and that, it was in the best condition that I'd seen the lift in. I was actually one of the only people qualified to actually work on the lift, and that back in the day I'd done a MVQ on it, but they had to make up in engineering and that, they had to make up the course for the lift. So I was actually the only one that had that qualification to actually work on the lift.